Hallo allerseits, my name is Alex Holznienkemper and I am an instructor of German currently at the University of Notre Dame, still enrolled at the Ohio State University finishing up my doctoral work. And what I simply want to do today is provide a video that people can access to go over German adjective endings, especially the endings for attributive German adjective endings. And what we want to do is make the so-called mega chart. And it's not so much about memorizing the chart as I put it up on the board, because there's been a lot of traditional methods that try to make people memorize 3 distinct adjective ending charts. What we want to do instead is make the one mega chart and show that there's a little system behind the madness of all these adjective endings and maybe get more of a feel for how the adjective endings work. The way I've set this up on the board is we have the mega chart that accounts for all the different possibilities of different articles that might come before an adjective and its noun. So here we have a masculine column, feminine column, neuter, and plural. Here we have the cases, nominative, accusative, dative, and genitive. We're going to start a little more simpler over here with the basic chart covering all the definite articles. By now this should be pretty familiar to all of us. We have masculine, feminine, neuter, and plural, and I've already put the articles in there. We want to make one fundamental distinction, and that is between strong adjective endings and weak adjective endings. The chart here with the definite articles is going to give us all the strong endings. For example, if I have a masculine word, a masculine noun, and it's in the nominative case, this R is going to mark it as a strong ending. Similarly, the N in the accusative is the strong ending. The same for the M as well as the S. Of course, we're going to have an exception with the genitive. There's always an exception to all these rules in German, but bear with me. The strong ending for feminine neuter is E. Same for accusative. R and R for dative and genitive. Those are our strong endings for feminine nouns in those cases. And we're going to do the same here for neuter. S in the nominative and accusative. M and S in the dative and genitive. And for the plural articles, we have E as a strong marker in the nominative, E in the accusative, N in the genitive, in the dative, and R in the genitive. These are going to be our strong endings. When we have a construction with an attributive adjective and a noun, at some point in the construction, we need to have a strong ending. That might be in the article already, or it's going to come in the adjective. That's the system behind the madness. At some point in your construction, when you have a modified noun, either the article or the adjective itself is going to have a strong ending, which we've underlined here. So these are our strong endings. Then we have weak endings. Let's say we have an article, der, which has its strong ending for that case. Then what we're going to use in the adjective is a weak ending, which is going to be one of 2 endings, either E or, most of the time, it's actually going to be en. These are our weak endings. We're going to go back to the mega chart now and start filling it out. And again, the point is really not to memorize this chart, but to actually write along as I fill in this chart. And that'll get you in the practice of just seeing how I construct it, and this should provide good practice for you. So if we have a noun, and we have an attributive adjective describing it, modifying it, again, at some point, we need the strong endings that we just highlighted. If I have a definite article, der, that already has the strong ending there, the R, right? So I'm going to put in a weak E as the attributive adjective ending. However, if I have an indefinite article, ein, obviously it does not have the strong ending R, And I'm going to use that strong ending. Excuse me, I'll do this in blue. I highly recommend color coding your chart if you're writing along. ER is going to be the ending. Since I don't have the strong ending in the article, I need it in the adjective ending. At the end of this video, we're going to go through a PowerPoint presentation that gives you actual examples with these adjectives. It might make more sense that way. If we don't have an article at all, obviously we don't have the strong ending, so we're going to need the strong ending in the article, in the adjective itself, ER. The same goes for feminine. If we have D, it already has its strong marker E in the article, and we're going to take a weak ending, again E. The same goes for eine. The strong ending is there. We're going to put in a weak E. And if there's no article, we're lacking the strong one. But that strong ending for feminine neuter, as you can tell from the previous chart, is E. Moving on to neuter, if we have the definite article das, it has that strong S ending, of course, and we're going to take a weak ending, in this case, E. However, with ein, just as with the masculine, we do not have the strong ending in the article itself, so we're going to put the strong ending onto the adjective, es. Again, if you don't have an article, of course you don't have the strong ending, so you're going to have the strong ending in the article. In the adjective. Plural, same holds here. We have a strong E, and in plural we're going to take the weak ending en. The same goes for the indefinite article keine. The strong ending is there, so we take a weak en. If we don't have an article in plural, we are missing the strong ending for plural, which is E. So the strong ending is simply going to be that E. Those are all the cases for, or all the examples for the nominative case. In masculine, if we have an accusative object and we have the strong en in the article itself, the adjective is also going to take a weak en. The same holds for the indefinite article. En is already there. It needs a weak ending, and in this case it's going to stay en. If there's no article, you're missing the strong ending. The strong ending in this case, however, is the same as the weak endings, en. I think we can speed up a little more now. If you have D, you have the strong marker E. You're going to take a weak ending, in this case, E. The same holds for the indefinite article. If you have the strong E, you're going to take a weak E. And if you don't have the strong ending without an article, you're going to use the strong E as the adjective marker. Moving on to neuter, the strong marker is S, it's there. We're going to have the weak ending E. If it's not in the indefinite article, we need it in the adjective itself, es. And of course the same holds for no article. You don't have the strong ending in the article, you need the strong ending in the adjective. Back to plural. We have the strong marker E in the accusative. It's going to take a weak en. The same holds for keine, the indefinite article. It'll take a weak en. If we don't have an ending at all, we don't have an article, we obviously need the strong ending, which in accusative plural is E. And that's that. Dative. Moving on. If we have M in the article, that is the strong ending we're looking for. So we just need a weak ending. And from here on out, all the weak endings are going to be en. The only times you have the weak ending E are in some masculine nominative, feminine nominative, and neuter nominative, as well as some accusative cases. From here on out, the weak endings are all going to be en. If we have einem, the indefinite article, obviously the strong ending is already there, and we're going to take another weak en. At this point, it should be clicking if you're following along, and you'll definitely know what's to be expected here. We don't have a strong ending in dative masculine without an article, so we take the strong ending em in the adjective itself. Moving on to feminine. The strong marker is er. It's in both of these already, so they'll take weak endings, which I said are just going to be the same from here on out, en and en. And if you don't have an article, obviously that's when you need the strong ending in the adjective itself, er. In neuter, we have the strong ending em in both of these, so we'll take weak ens. And what are we going to have for the case where we don't have an article? Well, we need the strong ending, em again. Plural dative. The strong endings is en. It's in both these. In that case, we take en as a weak ending in the adjective. If we don't have an article, we're also going to take an en, but in a sense this is a strong en, if that makes sense. Moving on, and we'll get to our two exceptions here. Now we're going to move on to the last case, the genitive case, and here we're actually going to encounter our two exceptions to what we might expect from what we've discussed so far. So again, if we start off with masculine, in the genitive case we have our strong marker s. It's in the article already. So in the adjective, what do we need? We need a weak ending, and I said it's going to be en from here on out for weak endings. The same holds for the indefinite article eines. You'll have the weak ending en. And what might one expect in the case that we don't have an article? The marker is es for the strong marker. Then of course that's what we would expect as the adjective ending. But like I said, we have an exception here. This is the same in the masculine and the neuter case, or in the neuter gender. We would expect es because that's the strong marker. But here in the genitive, unpreceded by an article, we take an en. And like I said, that's going to be the same over here with the neuter. In feminine, we have the strong markers er, both with the definite and indefinite article. We're going to take weak what? ens, of course. Here the genitive holds true to the rule that we've been using the whole time. If we don't have the strong ending in the article itself, we're going to put that strong ending in the adjective er. We have the strong endings es in neuter. We're going to take weak ens. And last but not least, in plural, we have the marker er in the genitive plural. We're going to take a weak en. And if it's unpreceded by an article, the adjective will take the strong er. And that really does it for the mega chart. You may want to go through this process again, watch how we constructed the chart. The thing to remember is that we have this distinction between strong and weak endings. And at some point in a construction with a modified noun that could include articles, it may not include articles, we need that strong ending at some point in the construction. And that gives you a little bit of structure and something to look for when you're writing sentences and coming up with phrases yourself. And I hope that this helps you to kind of memorize and get a feel for the language. And we'll go ahead and go through some examples on a PowerPoint slide now. All right, here we are now with a PowerPoint just to give you some examples of all the cases and scenarios that we went through in the mega chart. The sentences are utterly random, and I hope there's no mistakes in my PowerPoint. But here we go. The way we're going to proceed with the PowerPoint slides is we're going to work through each example in each case. So we're going to go from nominative, for all the genders to accusative for all the genders and so on. The first example. Nominativ, maskulin, mit einem bestimmten Artikel, with a definite article, der, right? Der freundliche Mann spielt Fußball. There you have the weak E ending. With an indefinite article, you have the strong ending. Ein freundlicher Mann spielt Fußball. Since the definite article does not have the strong ending, you put it in the attributive adjective. Ein freundlicher Mann spielt Fußball. Without an article, again, you need the strong ending in the adjective itself. Alter Käse stinkt. Moving on to feminine in nominative. With a definite article die, you would simply have the weak ending. Die freundliche Frau liest ein Buch. Same holds for the indefinite article. It takes the weak E ending. Eine freundliche Frau fährt Fahrrad. Without an article, frische Luft tut gut. Moving on to neuter examples. With a definite article, you just have a weak E ending. Das neue Auto ist schnell. With an indefinite article, you need the strong ending in the adjective. Das ist ein tolles neues Auto. There we have two attributive adjectives, both taking the strong ending. Without an article, kaltes Wasser fließt aus den Bergen. Plural, with a definite article. Die neuen Studenten sind so jung. With the indefinite article as a negative, keine deutschen Restaurants geben einem Wasser umsonst. Without an article, neue Studenten sind überall auf dem Campus, right? The strong ending for nominative plural is actually just an E. So if you don't have an article, you need that strong E in the adjective. Moving on to the accusative case now. Masculine with a definite article. Kennst du den neuen Professor? The same ending for an indefinite article. Wir haben einen neuen Hund gekauft. Mein Vater isst gern stinkenden Käse. In the feminine case, or in the feminine examples, ich mag die neue Chefin. You have a strong E, you add a weak E to the adjective. With an indefinite article, same thing. Wir brauchen eine neue Bundeskanzlerin. Ich brauche frische Luft. In neuter, definite article, wir fahren heute in das neue Kino. You have the strong ending in the article itself. You take a weak E as the adjective ending. However, if you have an indefinite article, then you put the strong ending in the adjective. Ich fahre ein altes Auto. Die Fed druckt immer wieder neues Geld. If you have plural with a definite article, wir holen die deutschen Touristen vom Flughafen ab. You take a weak EN because the strong E is in the article. With a negative indefinite article, ich kenne keine scharfen deutschen Gerichte. In plural, du hast schöne Augen. Moving on to the dative case now. If you have a definite article, masculine, ich gebe dem, you have a strong EM, you take a weak EN. Ich gebe dem freundlichen Mann Trinkgeld. Ich kaufe einem alten Freund einen Döner. Sie schenkt frischem Kaffee etwas Sahne ein. There you don't have the strong ending in the preceding article, so you put the strong EM into the adjective. Feminine. Er zeigt der neuen Mitarbeiterin die Stadt. Sie kauft einer alten Freundin ein Geschenk. If you don't have an article, it takes the strong ER ending. Wir schenken frischer Suppe etwas Würze ein. In neuter, with a definite article, sie bauen dem jungen Kind ein Baumhaus. Strong EM in the article, weak EN in the adjective. Same for an indefinite article. Sie kauft einem kleinen Mädchen etwas Schokolade. Without an article, you need the strong ending in the adjective. Wir fügen gekochtem Gemüse etwas Salz hinzu. In plural, Sie geben den neuen Mitgliedern eine Ermäßigung oder einen Rabatt. With an indefinite article, Sie geben keinen Studenten die Chance, den Test neu zu schreiben. And if you don't have an article in plural, you're going to have the strong en ending. Gib fremden Menschen eine Chance. Last but not least, the genitive case. We're almost through with all the examples. If you have genitive in masculine, die Handlung des neuen Films ist schnell erzählt. There you have the expected weak ending en. The same holds for an indefinite article. You have the strong ending eines in the article. And I forgot to put a adjective in this example. If you want to put an adjective in here, you would put it between the article and the noun. Der Wert eines erwachsenen Mannes. En would be the ending. I apologize for skipping the adjective. Without an article, this is where one would expect the strong ending es in genitive, but it's not. This is our exception. Der Geruch frischen Kaffees ist herrlich. In the feminine, der Sohn der freundlichen Frau arbeitet im Altersheim. You have the strong er ending in the article, you take a weak en in the adjective. Same in the indefinite. Das Werk einer jungen Künstlerin erregte eine große Kontroverse. And if you don't have an article, it takes the strong er feminine genitive ending. Der Geruch salziger Meerluft füllt meine Lungen. Moving on to neuter. Die Eltern des kleinen Kindes machen sich große Sorgen. You have the strong es and a weak en. Same with the indefinite article. Der Geruch eines neuen Autos ist so schön. And our last exception, genitive neuter without an article, one would expect the es, but it has the exceptional ending en. Der Geruch frischen Essens ist herrlich. And finally, in plural genitive, die Designs der neuen Autos auf der IAA sind sehr cool. And if you don't have an article, die Erwartungen neuer Studenten sind hoch. You have a strong er in the adjective. I apologize for the one example without the adjective in it, but I think going through those slides, those should provide some examples that clarify what we did in the mega chart, and I hope that helps to clarify German attributive adjective endings. Thanks.